Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. We've had quite a few requests from folks saying, what's happening with the cabin? You haven't shown us any progress. Well, that's coming up partially in this video. Right now, here it is, the 8th of August, I believe it is. Almost fall-like conditions, as actually we've discovered some leaves that are beginning to change. So we have massive cleanup starting. That's going to be a task Michelle is undertaking, and we're going to explain to you about what happened in the beginning to create such a condition. During the summer of 2018, I pretty much spent the entire summer alone working on our cabin. I was able to get this cabin up in about a month and dried in actually after about 6-7 weeks. Michelle was able to come out and help on Fridays and Saturdays. She was still a bit before she could retire, but she had a 3-day weekend which worked out great. I would pick her up and we would come out on Thursday. She would stay Friday and Saturday. I'd take her back on Sunday. Worked out perfect. So we had planned on shutting it down in the fall because we both needed to be in Fairbanks during that winter in order to prep for the eventual sale of our Fairbanks home. Come spring, we were so excited. We had spent the winter prepping for one supply run after the other because this would be the year we moved in to stay on our wilderness property. We had the typical early spring problems with boats and boat ramps and low water and sandbars everywhere. But once we were in sight of our landing and we heard the trumpeter swans calling out to us, all the stress gave way to smiles and an intense sense of relief. That is, until we docked, got off the boat, and this is what we found.
Our cabin is collapsed, it's destroyed, and it had to have just happened. But there were people here that didn't belong here because there was stuff inside the cabin that we didn't put there. And there were tools in the cabin that aren't ours. Our solar, I don't know, hoping it can be salvaged, but our little tent destroyed. And we know this just happened because pillows and comforters are dry. Lights. A roof. Everything demolished. It looks like a tornado hit. First thing in the morning, we're out here trying to salvage what we can of our cabin. Has already taken the tin off, did that yesterday, and now we're removing the tar paper and moving lumber around. You know, on the plus side of this, we're going to redo the cabin in a different way. Our front door won't be in the spot it was in before, which was facing the water. Now it'll be on the side, which faces out the trees, which is really pretty. That's also where we're going to have our screened-in porch. And there's Takani helping him. Jed found our mosquito coils. We were worried that those had disappeared along with some other things. But nope, we found them. And now I don't have to conserve because we only had one box here. And we were using them at night. Look, he brings me more. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yay, I am so tickled. Seriously, as I was saying, we were just lighting 2 at night to get the mosquitoes off us as we are sleeping in this storage tent here on an inflatable mattress, which is not the most comfortable thing in the world. So between that and mosquitoes, it wouldn't make a very good night.
When I had closed the cabin up for the fall, I ran bracing 2x6s from the top of the wall studs to about the center of the floor. I did this because of the fact that we were, well, there was no ceiling joists in the cabin. So in order to kind of brace it up, I put these braces in because we had come up with this open ceiling design that we planned on finishing up in the spring. Now, whoever broke in cut and removed the braces. Not only did they remove them, but it looked like they cut them up into firewood. No way once these braces were removed could the roof support a snow load. And what you see here is the results of the damage they caused. Well, we later learned that a group of hunters had been told that our cabin was abandoned, and they took advantage of it. They used our water buckets as porta potties. Not only used them as porta potties, but they didn't even bother to empty them. They used our MREs and every bit of food stuff that we had stored in the cabinet and left all the dishes dirty. Every pot, pan, dish, you name it, was left stacked in a pile, unwashed. But as hurt as we were determined to rebuild. And we had to rebuild as fast as possible because in just about a month, this was going to happen. Well, we had contracted with H&W River Services out of Nenana to bring a very large load of supplies to us. And we had no place to put all of these supplies. Well, as unloading began, we did the best we could to get everything put somewhere where we could at least get a tarp over it until we could get some storage tents out here to put everything in. One of the things we forgot to do was video just how much we actually had on that barge. It was a massive amount.
Well, it wasn't so much that we forgot to video. My phone was down in the boat that was hard to get to, and I couldn't figure out how to work the GoPro so that I could take video. So all I managed to get was trying to winch the wood stove up.
Well,
it was more of a hassle than it was forgetting. All right.
Well, we were kind of on the busy side, yeah. So with the
freezer's empty.
The barge folks, it's not actually their job to unload that barge. They normally pull up to a village or wherever they're going, and there's a crew standing by to unload. But we did it, and now the problem is...
It's not a problem, it's a challenge.
It's a challenge is to get it all to the back, because today the sun tried to come out, and now it looks like the rain is blowing back in.
Well, let's get this going so we can at least get the foodstuffs back there.
Well, we were able to get one storage tent at Costco. We got it up and then just literally packed it as best we could with everything that we could. Because like I said, we had another barge load coming. Later, Michelle was able to make another supply run to Fairbanks, and she picked up another storage tent. And again, this one, we just loaded it up as best we could with what we could get in there, and we still have some room left. Currently, we're in the process of cleaning this one up and sorting and separating everything. And hopefully, we'll be able to at least walk through it. Otherwise, everything else was just placed underneath a tarp as best we possibly could, just to keep the rain off. Our large gray tent, the Shelter Logic, had received some intense damage from a storm. So we have it held together as best as we possibly could get it, and stored as much in it as we possibly could. Well, I've spent some time getting the loft floor in. It has been somewhat of a challenge. And now comes the hard part. Well, the hard part that I'm talking about is we're going to have to find a nice sunny day, remove the metal roofing, the roof trusses, at least half of it. It only goes halfway down the cabin. Those have to come down. And then we need to get the walls up really fast and the roof trusses back on and the plywood on that. And you can imagine how rushed a day that is going to be. But hopefully here very, very soon, our bedroom loft will be finished and I can show you just what I did to get that done. Well, there you have it. And if you're wondering why things are taking so long, it's just me. So I'm having to do all of this construction work without any help. And it's taken me a while. But I'm continuing on with it. And even after we got storage tents up and everything, we still had barge supply runs that were coming in, plus items in Fairbanks that we had to get out of storage and get out here, and it seemed like it would never end. But here very soon I will get the walls up on the loft or the roof back on, get everything completed. I'll take you along for the ride on that one. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it if you would, and above all, leave us a comment. And we'll catch you next time, right here on Alaska Bush Living.